Is winter ending 6 weeks early? The forecast data we're analyzing right now suggests something unprecedented is about to unfold across America. And it's not what anyone expected. This morning's model runs show a pattern flip so dramatic it's rewriting 30-year climate averages. We're about to witness temperatures in late January that typically don't arrive until mid-March. That's a 7-week advancement of spring. But here's the critical information you'll discover at the 2-minute 50-second mark. This early warm-up carries hidden dangers that could catch millions of Americans completely off guard. The Pacific jet stream is undergoing a transformation right now. Within 96 hours, a massive high-pressure ridge will build along the west coast, reaching intensities we typically see only 2 to 3 times per decade. This ridge will pump warm Pacific air inland like a fire hose. Temperature departures from normal could exceed 20 degrees Fahrenheit across a dozen states simultaneously. 20 degrees above average. Let me give you specific numbers that'll shock you. Cities like Denver, normally sitting at 45 degrees in late January, could hit 65 to 70. 65 to 70 degrees in Denver in January. Billings, Montana, with average highs of 35, might reach 55 to 60. Rapid City, South Dakota, could soar into the upper 60 seconds. These aren't typos. These are legitimate forecast possibilities 10 to 14 days out. The Weather Prediction Center highlighted this extreme warm anomaly in this morning's forecast discussion. They use the word exceptional to describe the temperature departures. When meteorologists use that word, pay attention. Now, God's word speaks to the changing of seasons in beautiful ways. Song of Solomon chapter 2 verse 11 says, "See, the winter is past, the rains are over and gone." We may be witnessing this transition far earlier than usual. Here's your 30-second reward. The information that could change your entire month. If you live anywhere from the Rockies to the Atlantic coast and from the Canadian border to the Gulf, prepare for spring weather arriving 4 to 6 weeks ahead of schedule. This affects lawn care, gardening, outdoor projects, and most importantly, severe weather season. The ramifications of this early warm-up extend into every aspect of American life. Farmers and ranchers need to understand what's coming. Livestock that have acclimated to winter conditions will struggle when temperatures suddenly jump 30 to 40 degrees. Heat stress in January? It sounds absurd, but it's a real concern this year. Pasture grasses will begin growing weeks early. That sounds beneficial, but early growth depletes soil nutrients and makes plants vulnerable to late-season freezes if they occur. Fruit trees and berry bushes respond to accumulated warmth. Extended periods of above-normal temperatures trigger budding and flowering. If this happens in late January and we get a hard freeze in March, commercial fruit production could suffer devastating losses. We're talking about potential hundreds of millions of dollars in agricultural damage if the timing goes wrong. Hundreds of millions. But wait, there's something even more concerning that nobody's discussing. The severe weather implications of this pattern are staggering. When you inject this much warmth into the atmosphere this early in the season, you're loading the gun for explosive thunderstorm development. Gulf of Mexico water temperatures are currently running 2 to 4 degrees above normal, 2 to 4 degrees Fahrenheit warmer than average for early January. That warm water pumps tremendous moisture into the atmosphere. Combine warm Gulf moisture with warm Pacific air flooding the continent, then add occasional cold fronts dropping down from Canada, and you have the perfect severe weather recipe. The Storm Prediction Center's extended outlook, looking out 8 days, already shows multiple severe weather threat periods. Day 6, Day 7, and Day 8 all highlighted with elevated severe weather probabilities. That's highly unusual for early to mid-January. Typically, we see maybe one marginal severe weather event per month in January. This year, we might see 3 to 5 significant events. Don't miss this critical connection at minute 5. When severe weather season arrives early, tornado season shifts forward too. Historical data shows a strong correlation. Years with early warmth produce early tornadoes, and early tornadoes catch people unprepared. Home insurance policies might have lapsed. Storm shelters haven't been checked since last spring. Weather alert systems are turned off because it's winter. The February 2008 Super Tuesday tornado outbreak killed 57 people across 4 states. 57 deaths. It happened on February 5th, a date when most Americans weren't thinking about tornadoes. This year, we could see outbreak-caliber events even earlier, potentially in late January. Now, the atmospheric setup for these events is becoming clearer. Deep moisture, check. Strong wind shear, check. Instability, developing. Trigger mechanisms, multiple cold fronts queued up. The January 20th to 25th period is showing particularly concerning signals. Long-range models depict a potent storm system tracking from Texas to the Great Lakes during this window. Ahead of that system, temperatures could surge into the 70 seconds and even low 80 seconds from Oklahoma to Tennessee. 70 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit in late January. Behind it, a sharp cold front and strong jet stream dynamics. This is a classic severe weather pattern, but occurring 2 to 3 months early. Forecast confidence is still limited at this range, but the pattern recognition is undeniable. We've seen similar setups before, and they've produced violent weather. The February 2007 outbreak in Florida, the January 2017 outbreak in Georgia, the March 2012 outbreak across the Ohio Valley, all shared similar atmospheric characteristics to what's developing now. As Christians, we know that God ordains the seasons and the weather. Acts 14 verse 17 tells us that He has shown kindness by giving you rain from heaven and crops in their seasons. He provides you with plenty of food and fills your hearts with joy. Even in unusual weather patterns, we see His providence and care. But we also bear responsibility to prepare wisely and protect those He's entrusted to us. Let's break down the timeline of this remarkable pattern evolution. This weekend, January 4th and 5th, the final blast of true winter cold affects the northern plains and Great Lakes. Wind chills below zero, snow squalls, lake effect snow measured in feet. By midweek, January 8th and 9th, the transition begins. Temperatures start climbing, the Pacific Ridge strengthens, the warm air advances eastward like a tidal wave. January 10th through 14th, the warm anomaly reaches peak intensity. Record high temperatures fall across multiple states. Some records that have stood for 50, 60, even 100 years could be challenged or broken. Imagine the irony. January 12th, 2025 might be warmer in Minneapolis than October 15th, 2024 was. Winter warmer than fall. The psychological impact shouldn't be underestimated. Seasonal affective disorder sufferers will experience relief. Vitamin D production increases with more sunshine and outdoor activity. Energy consumption patterns shift dramatically. Heating degree days, the metric utilities used to forecast natural gas demand, could drop to levels typically seen in late March. Natural gas prices may decline as demand softens. That's good news for consumers, but concerning for energy producers who budgeted for winter demand. Snow removal budgets for cities and towns will show surpluses. Equipment sits idle. Overtime hours disappear. For workers who depend on winter storm income, this is financially challenging. Tourism in traditional winter destinations takes a hit. Ski resorts operating on marginal snow conditions struggle. Ice fishing tournaments get canceled. Snowmobile trails close. But tourism in warmer destinations booms. Beach towns see off-season visitors. Golf courses in the South host record rounds. Outdoor attractions open weeks early. The economic reshuffling from a warm winter affects millions of jobs and billions of dollars. Here's the part you can't afford to miss at minute 12. After the initial warm surge, the pattern doesn't stabilize. It oscillates. We get warm, then brief cooldowns, then warm again. These oscillations create repeated severe weather threats. Think of it like a pendulum swinging back and forth. Each swing brings another round of storms. And with abundant Gulf moisture available, each storm system taps into tremendous energy. The January 20th to 31st period could feature 4 to 6 separate severe weather events. 4 to 6 events in an 11-day span. Hail damage to vehicles and roofs could be extensive. Wind damage to structures and trees. Tornado damage to communities that haven't seen tornadoes in winter in decades. Insurance companies are already noting the unusual pattern. Premium adjustments for severe weather coverage may follow if this becomes a trend. And there's growing concern this isn't just a one-year anomaly. Climate patterns may be shifting in ways that make early warm-ups more frequent. The Pacific Decadal Oscillation, a long-term ocean temperature pattern, has transitioned to a warm phase. Warm PDO phases correlate with warmer winters across the northern United States. The Atlantic Multidecadal Oscillation is also in a warm phase. Double warm phases, Pacific and Atlantic, stack the deck toward above normal temperatures. These oscillations run in 20 to 30-year cycles. If we're entering a warm phase, for both simultaneously, winter as we knew it may be changing for a generation. Young people today might grow up experiencing fundamentally different winters than their grandparents did. But God's creation is resilient and adaptive. Nature adjusts to changing conditions, and so must we. Ecclesiastes 3 verses 1 through 4 remind us, "There is a time for everything, and a season for every activity under the heavens, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to uproot, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to tear down and a time to build." Seasons change, patterns evolve. Our response must be flexibility, wisdom, and faith. For homeowners, this warm pattern offers opportunities. Exterior painting projects can proceed in January instead of waiting until April. Roof repairs can be completed. Foundation work can begin early. Contractors will be busy. Scheduling jobs that normally wait until spring can happen now. The construction season extends by 6 to 8 weeks on both ends if this pattern holds. Landscaping companies can start spring cleanups early. Mulch delivery, pruning, bed preparation, all normally March and April activities shift into late January and February. The warm pattern also affects health. Allergy season could begin extraordinarily early. Tree pollen in late January, grass pollen in early February, both possible if temperatures stay elevated. Allergy sufferers who normally don't start medications until March may need to begin in mid-January. Doctors are already seeing upticks in seasonal allergy consultations. Infectious disease patterns shift too. Warm weather suppresses flu and respiratory virus transmission, but it enhances mosquito-borne disease risk if mosquito populations emerge early. West Nile virus surveillance may need to start weeks ahead of normal. Eastern equine encephalitis monitoring could begin in February instead of May. Public health departments are watching these climate trends closely. Now, the spiritual lessons from this unusual weather pattern are profound. Just as the weather can shift dramatically and unexpectedly, so can the circumstances of our lives. We think we know what's coming. We prepare for one scenario, and God reveals a completely different path. Our response shouldn't be fear or anxiety. It should be trust and adaptability. Philippians 4 verses 6 and 7 counsel us, "Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus." Whether the weather brings winter, cold, or spring warmth, our foundation remains the same. Trust in the Lord, who controls all things. In our next video, we'll dive deep into the severe weather outlook for late January. We'll show you exactly which states face the highest tornado risk, when the peak threat windows occur, and how to prepare your home and family. We'll also reveal the shocking forecast for February and whether this warm pattern persists or if winter makes a comeback. The information we're tracking could literally save lives. Make sure you're subscribed and have notifications turned on. Thank you for your time today. Share this forecast with friends and family. The more people who understand what's coming, the better prepared our communities will be. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May His face shine upon you and give you peace, and may you find joy in every season He provides. Stay weather aware, stay prepared, and we'll see you in the next forecast.